Hi, it's Ash. Welcome to my channel. We're going to stretch. We're going to have a deep stretch. This was the most requested video from you, my community of fellow runners that want to have a good stretch. This is going to be a nice 25-minute deep stretch where we're working through every area of your body, and we're going to start in a deep squat position. Now, if you need to get something to elevate your heels, either a cushion or a wedge or something, we're going to go and elevate the heels right now, because I know that some people have issues in their hip mobility and their ankles. So we're going to slowly start to sit down into your deep squat. We're going straight into some deep work. So if you need to, you can pause the video and get something to elevate the heels. That's just going to make it a little bit more comfortable. You can rest the hands out in front like this and lean a little bit further forwards if you need to as well. That'll make it a little bit more comfortable. So there are ways that you can make this easy and comfortable for you. If you can, you're going to rest your elbows onto the insides of the knees now. Lift up nice and tall through the spine. Relax the shoulders, and then just start to breathe in and out through the nose. We're slowing the breathing down. And because your body's warm, we can go straight into deep stretching. We can go straight into some nice deep work because the muscles are warm. And that's why we've come straight into this work. So I'm presuming that you are fully warm, you are fully ready. Your muscles and your blood is pumping with energy. So you are ready for this work. So start to bring the hands into the heart if you're able to, or keep the hands in front if you need to, lifting that chin and chest upwards, breathing, and then just start with a really nice slow little movement left and right, into the left foot, into the right foot, and we're going to get that nice deep massage into the hips, into the inner thighs, into the knees, into the ankles. We're getting all that compression, so squishing everything. We're always keeping the spine nice and long, trying to breathe in and out through the nose if you can. And we're starting your recovery now. We're starting a deeper, longer, slower, nice stretch to help your mind recover, relax, and also help your body obviously be a bit more supple, a bit more injury preventative, or a bit more injury resilient. That's the word I was looking for. So we're just moving left and right with this. Again, we're keeping suppleness in those tissues. We're keeping softness and squishing maybe those tense, tired muscles, which helps flush everything through. It helps your recovery process. And then from here, we're going to slowly I'm going to come to the top of my mat here. And from here, so feet are wide at the moment. I'm going to start to bring your hips up off the floor, bring your hands forwards, and then start to wiggle your feet in, about hip width distance apart. Keep your knees bent to get your hands to the floor. And then start to let your head bow and look through your knees. And then start to straighten the legs as much as you comfortably can. The microphone's obviously starting to come into my mouth, which is annoying. So starting to push the head towards the knees. Let the head be really heavy. We're going into a nice deep forward fold. Relax the shoulders. And again, just start with a really slow little left and right. Into the right foot, into the left foot. Pushing the head towards the knees. Keep those shoulders relaxed. And if your knees need to be bent quite a lot, that's absolutely fine. Again, don't judge your body against my body. So we're just in this deep forward fold, moving left and right, massaging, again, hamstrings. Maybe you can feel that stretch in the back and the ribs. Keep the neck nice and soft, move it. Keep the jaw soft, release this tension from the shoulders, so keep them nice and soft and fluid. And then we're going to bend the knees again a lot. Put the weight of the body into the hands, so the hands are nice and strong, almost like you finished a press-up position. And then we're going to step the feet backwards. And then we're going to start to just check that this feels okay. So push into a downward facing dog and just make sure that this feels roughly around about your normal, usual downward facing dog. If you need to, you can wiggle the feet further away from the hands, or you can bring them closer to the hands if you've gone too far. So find the right spot in your downward facing dog. Again, keeping it dynamic. We're slowly coming from a deep squat and the standing position. We're going to work our way down into a grounded, supported position. So going left and right into the left heel, into the right heel. A really slow, gentle
pedal, and then starting to extend the pedal a little bit more so the knee bends a little bit more. Don't rush this. Go nice and slow. We've got time to be here. We're not rushed for time right now, so go easy, gentle, nice, good, deep stretch. Push into the heel, really take a nice exhale out. Really good for the Achilles. Go over to the other side. Really good for the Achilles, the calf muscle and the hamstring area, which obviously take a lot of work as we run. We're going left and right, really slow, and pause and push. Maybe take a nice exhale out the mouth if it feels good every now and then. Breathing in and out through the nose if we're able to. Okay, keep the shoulders soft if they're starting to get tense. Keep slowly pedaling and then coming down towards the knees. So bring the knees down. And then we're going to take the knees backwards. And then from here we're going to bring the elbows down. We're going to take it into a Sphinx pose. So a nice supported pose. We're not going to go into upward facing dog because that would probably be a bit too intense to start into the lower back. So elbows underneath the shoulders, touch the toes together at the back, and then just have a little wiggle of the pelvis, get the pelvis comfortable. Press into the hands as well as the elbows, and pull the shoulders gently back. And lift the chin and chest if it feels okay for the neck. Again, breathe in. So there's active work here. So we're actively working the lower back muscles and giving them a good stretch, but also stretching the abdominal area. So it looks like a passive shape. It looks like we're just laid here, but there's a little bit of work. We want to just squeeze the bum ever so slightly to support the lower back. We want to lift the chin and chest so that we're arching the back. And gently pulling the shoulders backwards and breathe down into the belly button. So our breathing is going to help us relax. Our breathing is going to help us shift us from that intense doing, kind of rushing and intensity that we've just been doing, and it's going to help shift our state into a more rest and digest. So if we can, just focus on slowing the inhales and slowing the exhales down, helping the body recover, helping the mind have some space to refresh. And then from here we're going to start to bring the chest down and the forehead. Either the forehead or the side of the head can rest on the mat now with this, because we're going to go into a quad and hip flexor stretch here. So if you need a cushion, you can get one, but just make the head, either the forehead or the side of the head, comfortable with the hands by the side of the head like this. Okay, and then from here we're going to lift the left foot towards the left bum area. Take hold of that left foot with the left hand and pull the left foot towards the left hip. If you need to, you can get a yoga strap to help that pull. Now from here, as we rest the forehead or the side of the head down and get comfortable, now think about pushing that left hip into the floor, and that's going to extend that stretch that little bit more. Okay, we're staying longer in these stretches as we go through this practice than we normally would, because we're going a little bit deeper. So we can start with a little bit of a gentle pulse by just pulsing that left heel towards the left hip, slowly releasing. So pulse it up, then release, pulse and then release. Keep breathing as you do that. How was your run? How was that run? How did it feel? Did it go as expected? Or was it more challenging than normal? Maybe the weather, maybe just your energy or stress levels. And just notice, without judging, without analysing, without beating yourself up. Slowly release that left foot now. And then just, as we straighten that left leg, feel the difference between the left and the right thighs. Get the left arm comfortable. Bring the right heel towards the right hip. And again, just have a start. A little bit of a pulse, a little slow, a little tiny pulse, and then that can maybe get a little bit bigger. We're just breathing and pulsing, trying to notice where we're holding tension in the body. So even the jaw can hold a lot of tension. Maybe we squeeze the jaw and tense up through that area. Maybe the shoulders. See if you can soften, stop tensing some of those areas that don't need to be tensing. This time now is all about recovery and healing. And pushing that right hip into the floor to get the extra little bit out of this stretch. So one more. And slowly release that right foot. As we release the right foot, just feel the stretch, that nice work. Have a little bit of a wiggle through the hips, left and right. Already they feel nicer, they feel much lighter and more refreshed. We're going to start to push up onto your hands and come all the way through on all fours, hands and knees. And then touch the toes together here and open up the knees nice and wide. We're going to go and sit into child's pose, which is really good for the ankles, the knees and the hips. So slowly sit the hips into the heels. Bring the forehead down to the floor and find comfort in the shoulders and the arms. So move the arms around until you find the right amount of maybe a little bit of work, maybe a little bit of a stretch, but also we want a lot of comfort there. Really want to be focusing on that lower body work in this. So we want to think about the hips pressing down towards the heels, which will squish, stretch the shin muscles, or the tibialis anterior, which again takes a lot of work as we run, stabilizes the body in our mid stance, creates that stability in our balance. So also giving the knees a good squish is this pose. And just feel that work into the knees. It's good for the veins, the arteries and the cartilage. You can feel the work in the hips again. Feel that nice compression, squishing. Keeping everything supple, keeping the cartilage soft as well. So we're just going to have a little bit of a roll into the left hip, into the left foot, then roll into the right hip and right foot. Just go left and right, really slow, little gentle massage with that. Just think about massaging into the hips and the knees and the ankles, shin muscles. Keep the breath nice and relaxed. And then we're going to slowly start to lift the head and chest, coming all the way through to hands and knees. And as we do that, we're going to step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. So come forwards, step in the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Give it a wiggle to get it there to the outside of the left hand, and let the back knee be back, be to the point. Let me get my words out. The back knee wants to be as far back as to the point that you can let the hips sink and lunge down into the floor like this. So if the knee's too far forwards, you won't really be able to let the hips sink down into the floor. So take the knee backwards, let the hips sink down, relax the shoulders, and have that really nice movement massage as you go left and right with this. Maybe into the, again, the right thigh at the top, into the hip flexors, maybe into the left hamstring or left inner thigh area. Keep breathing. And think about keeping the elbows and the shoulders soft as you gently move and massage left and right with this. And if this is okay for you, you stay here. If this is a good amount of work, stay here. There is another option. We could go a little bit deeper. This isn't a challenge for your ego, so don't think, I'm going to do that. That's what the ego wants you to think. But see if maybe you could bring one elbow or both elbows down. If that's too intense, that's your body telling you don't go any further. You definitely don't need to judge your body against my body. So if you're good on your hands, stay here and move with it here. If you feel like you could go deeper, you could go a little bit more deeper, rocking into the elbows, left elbow, then the right elbow, massage and breathe, keep the shoulders relaxed. Feels really nice to nourish the body with this massage and this deep stretch. Keep the jaw soft. Those exhales slightly longer than the inhales if you can. And then walking back up onto the hands if you're not already. And then we're going to wiggle this left foot onto the inside of the left hand. Okay. And now from here, as we go backwards, make sure that we're always supporting the body with the hands. So we don't come onto fingertips, because that could just cause a little bit of too much, with straining too much. So we always support with good strong hands. So walking backwards to the knee with the hands, we're going to start to pull these left toes up and straighten this left leg. and a nice good stretch. Keep the slight bend in the slightest bend in the knee so we don't stretch the sciatic nerve. Keep the shoulders relaxed, keep pulling those toes up. If you need to take this back knee further backwards, just a little bit, you can do that. Again, hands are supporting a lot. And even if you're here with a really big bend, that's absolutely fine. Again, don't judge your body against mine. Your hamstrings will be different. Keep the shoulders and the jaw relaxed. And then you can keep this nice, long, deep, static stretch if this feels good. So this is option 1. Or option 2, if you prefer the nice, soothing massage, effective, that you can push the toes forwards and then pull the toes back. And just sit that hip a little bit further backwards like that, as if you're pulling the hip back. Push the toes forwards, release the stretch, pull the toes back and go deep into it. So that's the option. You can move through with that if that feels good. Or you can stay in static for option 1. So 2 options there. Find what feels good for you, what works, what's like, oh, this is good. It's all about, again, mindset of healing and recovery. And breathe. Nice and soft, gentle breaths in and out. Okay. Always checking the body, so keep a sense of fluidity. So I'm always just, even if I'm in static, a deep stretch, I'm always moving a little bit in it. There's just a little bit of fluidity. I don't want my body to get completely stuck in a shape. I'm always just slightly shifting the weight. And I'm going to walk the hands to the top of the mat now. I'm putting that foot down. Okay, support the hands and then take that left foot back and then feel the difference between the left and the right side. Have a wiggle, readjust. It's completely different. Bring the hips towards the heels nice and slowly. Again, make sure it feels okay for the knees. Don't go any deeper if you get any uncomfortable sensations. Pause. If you can't come hips to the heels like this, don't go any further. Just a little bit of a squish. If it's okay, go left and right again. Stretch those shin muscles. Tibialis anterior. Just give them a little bit of a massage into the ankle and the ankle ligaments. And then we're going to walk the hands forwards, coming forward, stepping the right foot up to the outside of the right hand this time. So come forward with the hands, step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. And then just walk the hands that little bit further towards the top of the mat so that that hip can sink, that left hip can sink down into the floor again. Okay, and as we get here, have a wiggle. Soften the elbows, soften the shoulders. Relax the neck, keep breathing. And make sure that right foot is nice and strong and stable into the floor. So let's move gently and massage with this. Go left and right, really kind, really slow as well. Breathe. So you're finding areas that feel good and you're working into them with your own movement and massage. If you feel like you could go further into this, you could go again onto the elbows, but only if that feels good for you. If you're on your hands and that's good enough for you, stay in. So option 1 is here. Option 2, you could go that little bit more into it. And again, you move into the left elbow, move into the right elbow. Keep the shoulders and the jaw relaxed. I say it a lot, but it's really important because that's generally an area where we tense up and create more stress. And as we're going through this movement, left and right, if you're enjoying this practice, you can support my channel for free. It doesn't cost you anything. I'll continue to post these free videos for you, for your stretching pleasure. You can support my channel by simply pressing the like button and commenting. So that's a really easy way for you to support my channel. Subscribe if you aren't subscribed and share the video with a fellow runner. Because when YouTube sees that there's engagement in my videos, they put it out to more people because they think it's a useful video. More people see my content, then the channel's growing and I'm able to see that people are liking the channel. There's potential to carry on growing this community and I'm going to keep posting these videos. So a really free way to support the channel and I thank you for that support. Thank you. Come back onto your hands and then we're going to wiggle the right foot onto the inside of the right hand. And then I'm going to start to walk hands backwards towards the knee. Again, make sure the hands are always strong and supported. As we go back, we're pulling this right heel up. And we're going to always have that little bit of a bend in that right knee. Relax the shoulders, and we can find option 1 again in the static. But even in static, like I mentioned, I always have a little bit of movement, a tiny bit, left and right, up and down, just working into areas, breathing. Or option 2, you could push the toes forwards, release the stretch slightly, pull the toes backwards, and think about pulling that right hip slightly backwards and down as well. So toes forwards, heel back, hip back, sorry, and you're just moving through that left and right, forwards and back, sorry. So you're just moving through that nice stretch. Or you're in static for option 1, so find whatever works for you and keep breathing. Nice deep stretch into the hamstrings and calf muscles. Just notice how everything's shifted to more of a calmer, slower healing, recovery. Walk the hands to the top of the mat now, and as we do that, step that right foot back. Again, feel that work. Let's have a little bit of a wiggle. And then we're going to come forwards now onto your elbows in what looks like almost like a half plank position. And then from here, we're just going to take the left knee out, nice and wide. And then we're going to let the right hip sink down in towards the floor. And then if that feels like a good enough groin stretch for you, you can stay here. But if you feel like you could go a little bit further, maybe you could just start to bring that right knee up. You might need some cushions if it's too painful for the knees. And you're going to sit those knees out nice and wide as you sit into like a frog stretch. Use the elbows to support the body, and you can either keep the hips nice and high, or you can go a little bit deeper by sitting the hips low and taking the knees wider. So find the right amount of groin stretch for you. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Again, in this frog stretch, have a little bit of movement, maybe left and right, or you can go deep into the stretch and just release the hips into the floor. Also, keep a bit of activity by thinking about squishing those knees into the floor. So it's almost like you're pushing into the floor with those knees, so that keeps the groin active. Stops it from being totally passive and you're not overly stretching stuff. Okay, and just enjoy this nice deep groin stretch as you breathe and move. Sounds like a very annoyed dog, if you can hear that. Okay, and I'm going to slowly start to, again, bring the elbows in for support, and then bring one knee in at a time. One knee, then the other. Come back onto your hands and knees. And then have a little bit of a rock and a wiggle. We're going to bring the left knee to the left wrist now. And then take the right foot up, right knee up. I'm going to take the left foot across the body into that pigeon pose, get working into the glutes, which will take a lot of work. Sit the leg backwards and sit the left hip in towards the heel, the mat, or into a cushion, whichever feels better. Hands can rest close to the leg, or you could go a little, if you feel like it's okay to go deeper, you could bring the elbows down. Again, have a little bit of movement to start. So just settle into the shape, and then you could pause. So option 1 would be to continue to move and massage into this deep stretch, or option 2 would be to just pause and go deep into it and let the weight come down. Maybe you could even rest the forehead down. So option 1 would be movement, option 2 would be static, going deep. Okay, so massaging into that glute, that piriformis and the IT band area. Really important area for us runners. Keeps that area nice and supple and healthy. I'm going to slowly start to lift the head and chest from wherever we was with that. Bring the hands back. Take the hands and push into the mat. Lift that back knee as we then start to take the left foot back. We're going to have a wiggle, feel the difference. We're going to bring the right knee to the right wrist. Take the foot across the mat. And then send the hips backwards and sit nice and slowly into that good stretch. Again, you can stay onto the hands, or you could come a little bit deeper, maybe onto the elbows. If it's too much on the elbows, go back onto the hands here. And then let's start with a little bit of a movement and massage into it. Breathe as you do that. So the option 1 is to continue to move and dynamically massage and stretch the body, again into that glute medius area. Or you can go deep into the static stretch and just release everything down. Maybe even come into the forehead to the floor. But as you do that, breathe. So again, as we come through this 25 minutes practice, notice how your energy is shifted, the intensity in that, maybe the fuzziness thinking in the brain. Maybe the muscles are quite tense. Maybe notice how the breathing's calmed down. That sense of fuzziness and intensity is just kind of dissolved. There's a sense of calm and peace. And that's why it is so important to stretch and breathe and help your body recover. Bring everything back in balance. So well done. I'm going to push slowly back onto the hands. How are you feeling? And if you have enjoyed this practice, we're going to just lift that back knee, take the right foot back. I'm going to come into one final little stretch that I'm going to leave you in, so take the feet nice and wide, hands behind the hips. Push your hips slightly forwards, and you can go hands behind the hips here. Or you can bring your hands out in front, and just a nice deep stretch for those inner thighs and hamstrings as well. Breathe, move, and you can stay here for however long you feel like. I'm going to leave you here. But again, if you did enjoy this video, 2 seconds, just press that thumbs up and also leave a comment. If you're not sure what to comment, just put thanks for the video, Ash. Share this video with a friend. And that is the ways that you are helping grow my channel. And it doesn't cost you anything, it's free, and I really do appreciate your support. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed this practice. I hope you feel good. Well done for showing up and putting the time, energy and effort into your body. I shall see you in the next video.